Hello students, install and configure server core. This is your module 2 of Windows Server Administration Fundamentals Windows 10 update, and in this lesson we are going to understand and explore the concept of the server core installation and the configuration that required to maintain the environment of the server, but why we call the server core and what is the difference between the server core with the full stack, the full desktop experience server, and the Nano server, which we learn later on this course. So here let me start from snapshot. Here you can see that this is the snapshot which really comes after you initiate the installing process of the server. And here you can see you have 4 different choices to made for your installation, and the second one is the Windows Server 2016. Now here you have the 4 packages: Windows Server 2016 standard, and in the standard configuration it directs you to the server core, which is recommended by Microsoft. They set the server core at the default installation, and if you wanted to get the desktop experience and you are much more compatible and easy to use the desktop experience, so you could select this second package, and the desktop experience is mentioned here. Then the third one and the fourth one is your data center package, which is recommended for the data center operations and that sort of purposes. So just right after that, we are going to provide some introduction of the server core. As we talk in the Nano server compared to the server core, both try to take the minimum resources of your CPU, and it is designed in such a way to take less and give more. That is the basic concept. So server core is also taking less CPU, less resources of your machine. That's why it reduced and omitted the GUI experience, because the GUI needs more CPU resources to assemble different components to provide you each and everything in a graphical manner. So if we take a server core and the required space it need and this regular server, so there may be a huge difference in both memory requirement. Here are some comparisons you can see here, as I ended up in the last point in the previous slide, that the memory requirement, and here it has been written for you, that the regular server, the full server, takes 10 GB of the disk space. In contrast, the server core takes only 6 GB. That is the main and visible difference between them. And due to GUI component, the server based network is graphically exposed, but in terms of server core, everything is behind the black screen, the command line screen, or behind the PowerShell. So that is to build in such thing. But the one and the main thing is different between them is in the server core, the person who is managing the server core machine must have technically sound, must have the skill to deal with the command line to perform activities, tasks by using the command. And here is the configuration snapshot. The command, you have the sconfig that provide you the basic configuration of the machine to take it on the domain or on the network, or to provide the IP address for further future using. And if we talk about the management of the Windows Server Core, so it has 2 or 3 methods to get managed. Before, you didn't provide the network. Once you are preparing the server, you just have to put the screen or your display, and once you install the server and provide the IP address, so make sure you have provided the correct IP address and it is correctly and successfully working on the network. Then you have to set it on your network side, and after that you have to take some remote session, or by using the utility remote server administration tool, the tool that is designed to work on remote ways on servers. By using this utility, you can easily manage multiple server by means of the remote feature, and it directs you to the PowerShell or other various command line ways. Now here you have some management snapshot. What is the RSAT? We already defined, but here let's explore this thing. It is first developed and introduced in Windows Server 2008 R2. That's allow the administrator to use this tool on a remote computer to manage features, roles and services, because when you are working on the server environment, the main and the foremost thing is to manage the roles and role services. So here the RSAT utility provide you to work or to easily maintain the roles and services configuration, management, monitoring through this utility. And it runs on the Windows 7, 8, 2008, 2008 R2, 2012, 2012 R2, 2016, and more on with the new products. And here there's a snapshot where you can easily add this feature to your machine, because in our Windows packages all such kind of things are included, but you can add as per your requirement. Here, this is your first view of the server core. After the installation, you get this screen, nothing graphical in front of you, and here you get the command line, and all sort of working, all sort of configuration can be made by using this command line interaction. Let me discuss the uses of the Windows Server Core. It is ideal for the enterprises that need to deploy and maintain a large number of servers. Although it requires the minimal administrations once deployed for specific infrastructure role, then it works on its routine basis, and like the domain controller, the certificate authorities, those sort of tasks can easily be managed through the server core. So the usage on that basis are okay with that. But the Microsoft recommend the server core for the following features, like the AD, the certificate service, the AD Lite directory services, the file services, Hyper-V, DHCP, DNS, and more so on the routing and remote access services. So Microsoft recommend to use server core for managing all those roles. And here you have some statistic data, how the server core taking the resources from your machine by gives more for less, taking less and gives more. That is the main slogan of the server core. And if we talk about the history, so I've discussed in the previous slides too that it is introduced in Windows Server 2008, but it has few limitations that once the server core command line is installed, so you cannot switch to the GUI, but Windows 2012 removed this issue by providing the switching support, but in 2016 this ability is completely removed. You have to decide once whether you want to go with the command line, the server core classic, or you want to go with the GUI interface. You have to decide before installation. It has some limitation as we discussed, but the main and the new thing I want to discuss here that the server core is not compatible with other third-party applications. That is the major drawback of the server core, because lots of the applications we have required the GUI interface, GUI experience, so it could in resemblance and then provide it features. So that is the main limitations we have. And if we compare it with to the Nano server, so here you're gonna find the Nano server takes around only 400 MB on the disk, while it takes 6 GB. So Nano server is more and more, we can say, concise version of the server. But the Microsoft recommend that the VMs can be managed and operated through the server core, which behaves as a host, and then you can make the Nano server as per your requirement. Let's talk about the future and the new latest recent server advancement, which is the server 2019. And here it is also have the same packages for standard and the data center, so you could select from the server core or the desktop experience here. And for the Hyper-V, there's only the server core only to manage as a host, and the views under that server core for the Hyper-V. And much similar feature with the previous one, like the GUI cannot be converted anymore, and it takes the low CPU RAM, disk space, whatever you can say. But the main thing, it is less vulnerable, and it shows more resistance to the cyber attacks, and that all features are so much similar with the previous one. Those are the application Microsoft recommended that cannot be work with the server core 2019, that are mainly of the 2019 versions. So that's why we avoid sometimes to install the server core environment, because due to those application, if we require those application in the environment, we don't have to go with the server core 2019. Now this time for the demo. So I will show the installation, how we can install the server core into the environment. Then your turn to perform the task and get the skill to manage and install the server core. Now here we are logged on to the PLAB TM01 from our practice lab platform that you are already been familiar with. And here we are going to launch server manager, which may automatically opens when log on. Go to the tools and launch the Hyper-V manager, and if you right click to the PLAB TM01, go to the new and the virtual machine to create a virtual machine for the installation of the server core. Now before you begin, just click to the next button and name it to server core, and then hit the next button. Make sure the generation 1 would be selected and 1 GB RAM is enough. Now click to the adapter and select the Intel Giga 82574L, the virtual network. Then click next and change the location of the hard drive to DVHD, the colon VHD, that are the hard drive location. And for the installation of the server, click to the Z drive where this 16 server 2000 is located. Now click finish, and here the machine is created for you, the server core. Right click to connect the machine and click to the green button. Now here you can see the disk is being loaded, and it takes to the installation menu, and we are not mean to install complete, but just show you and take you as the first snapshot we showed in the first slide. So students, you can see here all the packages you have in the Windows Server 2016, and if you go with the standard one, so it gonna take you to the server core, and same as here on the Windows Server 2016. If you click here and go on the server core, so this is the default, and if you like to get the GUI interaction, the desktop experience, so it is easy for making the choice, just select this second package and go with it. Now that's all for this module, and hope you understand the key terms before installing the server core. And now if you started the installation, so you're gonna feel better to work and to attempt those tasks. So stay with us. Thanks for watching.